Welcome back and welcome to today's tip. Now I know a lot of these YouTube coaches say this every single video, but this really is such an important part of your golf swing that you really need to adhere to, and you really need to make sure that happens in your golf swing, and make sure there's one little thing that we absolutely need to avoid when it comes to swinging this golf club and making sure we make better contact with this golf ball. First of all, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate hugely those of you who have already subscribed, but please hit that subscribe button. Really, really important, because I want to help you and your game. These are tips that are guaranteed to help all of your games. So much information out there, but I've cherry-picked loads of information out there, but the best information for you. On to today's tip. Now, really, really important we learn how this golf club works. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what should happen in this golf swing is it should feel effortless, okay? Effortless. Effortless doesn't mean slow. Please remember that. Effortless doesn't mean slow. We just want to let this big, heavy lump of metal on the end of a long stick do its work for us. To be able to do that, we need to let this club do its work for us. It's got a heavy lump of metal on the end of a long shaft. So it's already got some momentum. We just need to let it get it on its way with a little bit of speed into it. Not force, with a little bit of speed into it. And this is where a lot of golfers go wrong. What they then try and do when they get to the top, for example, they then try and jerk it. They really try and grab the golf club to try and force it down to the golf ball. All we've got to try and do, and I say all, we can explain how in a minute, all we've got to try and do and make sure happens is we're letting that golf club get into position. We're letting that golf club do the work for us, because anywhere where we drop this golf club, it's going to fall down into the same position. But if we force against it, that's the problem. That's where a lot of golfers really go wrong. And that's when you get a lot of what I like to call just simply over the top golfers, where they're slicing it, because they're grabbing the golf club on the way down, because they're trying to force the club to the golf ball. It's natural, it's played the ball out in front of us, so we're naturally going to want to try and do that. But this golf club is absolute gold dust. It's magical, okay? This does the work for us. As long as we get it into position, i.e., as we've said on previous videos, turning those shoulders, turning those hips, stabilizing that right shoulder, we can just let that golf club do its work and not grab it. So what does this feel like then? So I want you to give it for an example here. I want you to grab the golf club at the head end, just under the head end around sort of the hose, or grab it as normal as you can do, whether you use baseball grip, overlap or interlock, it doesn't really matter. Just get that feeling we're gripping that club underneath that head. And what I want you to try and feel, I want you to take the club as normally and naturally as you can to the top. Allow the club to get down to halfway, just let it drop, and then, bang, use those wrists to generate the speed. We're not trying to create force, we're trying to create speed. So I can do that with just one hand. We're just letting it drop and then try and creating the speed with the wrists. Okay, so we're just letting that club drop into position and then creating that speed using our wrists. So many people, again, try and grab it from the top, and the problem is when we grab it, what happens? These wrists really tighten, so we just cannot use these wrists. These wrists create speed. We're not trying to create force. We usually create force with the bigger muscles of our body. That's no good to man nor beast in this example. So if you really want to hit that golf ball, well, we know we all do. That's a daft question. We all want to do that. We've got to let that club drop and then try and create speed, not force. We're not trying to create the force, we're trying to create the speed with our wrist. So what I want you to do, a couple of big things, a couple of big feelings today. I want you to get it to the top of your golf swing as normally and naturally as you can do. Let it drop and then create the speed from there using our wrist. So hearing that whip of that golf club rather than oomph of the upper body. There's so much effort. You could probably feel it yourself. There's so much effort into it. Whereas you look at all the elite players on the tours out there, they make it look so effortless. They're hitting it miles and they make it look so effortless. Why? Because they're letting the club drop and they're creating that whip and that speed with their hands and not grabbing the golf club. So don't be a club grabber, be a club whipper on the way through, creating the speed with the wrist, letting the club drop, and then creating that speed with the wrist. And you'll be amazed at what results and how effortless it will feel. You'll know when you get it right. You'll know when you get it wrong, but my word, you'll know when you get it right as well. I'm not saying to you slow the club down. What I am saying to you is let the club gain speed, not force. Hope this helps. Hope this makes sense. Please don't hesitate. Comment below and please, please, please hit that subscribe button.